That over there is a Honda RC36 VFR750F, and that over there is the final generation RC79 VFR800F. So how do they compare? So here we go, first time on, well, VFR800 of any sort, but yeah, slightly more apologetic on idle there, but obviously I've got the blue flame as my bike's not starting. Good start. It's a bit neutral, isn't it?
Yeah. Don't know if it's, I thought it might be your side stand.
No. Alright, don't know why that happened, but maybe let's not switch it off at the next. Yeah. It does this sometimes. It just has a bit of a funny five, and it won't start. But yeah, we have a working VFR once more. So we can get back on this one. Off we go. This is quite weird. I've never ridden behind one of my own bikes before. I was doing some filming as well. There we go, and Gareth. It sits awfully low at the back. I wonder if yeah, it does need a bit of some preload added or something like that. Anyway, this bike. So this is currently being run by Gareth Evans from MCN. Gareth actually has a similar kind of cars to bike story to me. Started out as a car journalist, that's how I know him. Yeah, he went over to work for Motorcycle News because he worked for Parker's and Car Magazine. He worked for the car side of Bauer Media before, shifted over, learnt to ride, and yeah, has been there ever since. In 2025, he's running this. They went and they bought this from Superbike Factory. It cost, I think it was about $5 grand-ish. So yes, the RC79, it is not one of the late ones, but it is the final generation. So the final iteration of what is known as the Interceptor, the VFR750F and the VFR800F. Yeah, this was it. This was the final one. And yeah, I really wanted to test it. The big difference is, yeah, on the bike before this, which I've forgotten the name of, RC something or other. They switched from gear-driven cams to conventional chain, and at the same time they brought in VTEC variable valve timing. Not the same kind that Honda used to put on the cars, where basically the revs get to a certain point and the camshaft takes on a higher profile, so basically the valves open more and let in more air and fuel. Instead, this below its sort of 6,700 or 6,800 RPM operates with only 8 valves, and then beyond that point, yeah, it operates with 16. Now the early ones of the previous generation were criticised for being a bit jerky, so what they did is they kind of finessed that a bit. Part of that was altering the point so it would come onto the VTEC at 6,800, but then it'll climb down from it at 6,100, so it kind of removes that sort of binary-ness that you got before, kind of made it a bit of switchy. God, that sounds good from behind, doesn't it? Come on then, let's have a go. That sounds nothing like mine. It's so different. I didn't know what to expect really, but yeah, that is very different. No quick shift, as you probably gather. It's not, maybe weren't really as much of a thing when this came out. Obviously in terms of handling it's kind of a tricky one, because I've got a 100,000 mile bike, this has done 10,000 miles, this is much newer. Everything's going to be a bit fresher. It's noticeably firmer, I will say that. Noticeably keener to turn. I don't know if it sounds as good, I will say that. Yeah, it doesn't have that kind of same nice rumbly exhaust note that mine does in the low end. How much of that, I wonder, is down to the fact that we're only running on 8 valves at the minute? Would that make much of a difference? So yeah, what is happening right now is Gareth's having a go on mine, see how it compares to his 4-piece on MCN motorcyclenews.com. So if that is out by the time this video comes out, I will link to it in the description. I have made it abundantly clear to him that while it's not a fine example of the breed, it is a leggy one. It is, you know, a bit soft. Ow, a fly just hit me in the head. Yeah, I don't know, I think it does just feel like it's somewhat lacking character. In terms of actual straight line performance, it does feel like there's a bit more of a kind of top end rusher, I guess, because of the VTEC. But actually not much in it in terms of power. So yeah, it is around 104 horsepower for this, and yeah, maybe like a couple less for mine, if that. This is heavier as well. Okay, I noticed at that time. Right, here we go. So let's try first gear. Let's drop the revs a bit, and oh, it sounds good at the very last bit. I think that's the big difference between these. Yeah, you have to be really cranking it round, and that's when it sounds truly brilliant. Whereas I think the other, my one, the old one, just kind of sounds good everywhere. Throttl's a bit snatchy, I find, at some points in this though. I will say that. Yeah, definitely firmer, but it's hard to know how much of that is down to age and mileage. Certainly with mine, yeah, it is definitely noticeable just how much mine squats at the back. Well, I've never noticed that before because I'm riding it, so I can't see it, funnily enough. Yeah, somewhat lacking character compared to mine, but when you really open it up, this does sound fabulous. Good riding position actually. Obviously mine has risers, but you know, there's a pretty big rise on this anyway. I thought there's plenty of room for my legs. Wind protection's okay actually. Mine's got a touring screw, which I think is just sort of makes things worse, but yeah, this is okay. You can tuck yourself down if you need to. I don't really feel the weight either. I think I was wondering if this might feel a bit heavy, because it is. It's about 240 kilos. Oh god, that's good. Try the third now. Yeah, oh, there you go. There you go. I don't think I was just paying enough attention before I was getting used to it. But yeah, if I put it in third particularly. Oh, big old fly splat on the screen there. I think this is the bike that it might take you a bit to warm to. It's already low. Hey, when I got it from mine, I was like, oh, I don't know about this. Kind of sounds a bit meh when you first start it up and when you sort of just going through the first few thousand RPM, but open it up and that is pretty glorious. I'll tell you what I would like to try actually, what I'd probably like to buy, knowing me, is the I can never remember if it's the Cross Runner or the Cross Tourer, which is like the tall rounded version of this. One is the 1200 and one is the 800, I can't remember which. But yeah, those are supposedly really underrated bikes, which I think is kind of a nice way of saying no one bought them, but oh, I like this a lot actually. But all of this does kind of make me want to try a slightly better sorted RC36, because I do think a lot of what's you know, immediately feeling a lot more confident to ride this fast, but I think mine is just yeah, a bit of a soggy one, to be honest. Not broken again, is it? No. Oh, you're paranoid now. It's more, I think, than the noise than anything. Yeah. It doesn't feel like it's like fucking taking off, but it just kind of gets to that point and it goes brrr. Yeah. It's quite nice for its kind of Jekyll and Hyde kind of job. Yeah. It's really nice and smooth for cruising, and then you can wind it on, and it does kind of make me want to try a better sorted version of one of those though, yeah. Because I think it's hard to know what, because obviously this feels like lovely and so much more confidence inspiring, but I don't know how much that's down to the fact that this is a bit soggy and a bit old and wants, you know, wants some new fork oil. Yeah. What did you think? Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'd agree with that. I'm still trying to get my head around the geometry of it a little bit. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's got the risers on, yeah. So that's, you got an extra probably couple of centimeters there. Yeah, yeah. This was really nice actually. It feels really roomy. It feels, yeah. Often like bikes like this, I'm never sure what they're going to be like because I'm a bit taller, but actually it's a good all-rounder that. Yeah, back on mine. Yeah, weird. I wonder if it is something side stand related, so I don't know if there's a dodgy sensor. Off Gareth goes. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Yeah, that VTEC bark is pretty lovely. It's just that the rest of the time, because obviously this, you got that kind of, it's just so much rumblier and burblier. Now I know, obviously I have a non-stand exhaust. That was a good bit of road. I need to God, I lived near this road for 7 years, never knew it was here. Never somewhere I go. I've got sort of predefined routes that I do, and this ain't one of them, but I think it needs to be. I was sticking in first because we did that on the other one as well. We've got a bit of a straight there, haven't we? It just, yeah, sounds absolutely nothing like the other one. It doesn't feel like too much actually of a pudding getting back on it, as I worried it might have done. Yeah, it still feels alright. You've just kind of got to be a bit more kind of aggressive with your inputs on the bars to get it moving. So the ride is smoother, so I think it'll be comfortable. But yeah, I think having seen how much it squats at the back, I wonder if it will want some rear shock work at some point, or at the very least could try wiring on a bit of preload, which might be a kind of interim measure. Yeah, but that other VFR though, £5 grand for one of those. Yeah, because those went up to about 2021, discontinued due to Euro 5 emissions. Probably would have been too complicated, probably would have been too costly to get them to pass it, and I suspect by the end of it, it was, you know, a slow seller. That's just me ticking over 400 miles. I have only done 400 miles on this since getting it. I think it was last November or December. And depressingly, that includes about 100 miles of riding it back from Sheffield. So yeah, poor showing really. I need to get out and ride it some more. But I don't know, when you're not riding something, is that not just a sign you need to sell it? Perhaps what I need to do is, yeah, sell it and then one day buy either a better sorted one, because if you know, obviously I could just pour a lot of money into kind of sorting stuff out on this, but it's leggy, it's tatty, it's probably not the best starting point for that. I think it's, this bike is probably destined to be like a kind of a bit of a hack for the rest of its life, I suspect. But yeah, I think it will be nice one day to buy, you know, either here, better sorted RC36, or go and spend a bit more on yeah, on that VFR. But then I probably don't need that when I've also got my Ducati Multistrada for the long distancey stuff. Yeah, well, it does feel alright in this stuff actually. Brakes still work really well, that's the main thing. So, you know, you don't find yourself falling on the anchors and finding that not much happens. I think having good tyres on this helps as well. Road 6s. Previous owner did do things properly, which is good. So I guess let me know in the comments. Have you had a few VFRs? Have you also had later VTEC ones and the earlier ones? What do you think? How do you think they compared? That's only a quick squirt, and you know, fairly gentle one. You know, it's always a bit weird borrowing someone else's bike. You know, you don't want to go too mad. But yeah, nonetheless, even from that little short squirt, very interesting indeed. You do enjoy a natural speed limit sign when you're in this. On this? Yeah, on this, not on this, not a car. Yeah, obviously a much more modern bike as well, the other one. You do have ABS, you've got traction control, a bit, you know, fairly simple, early kind of traction control. None of that on this, and actually, particularly when the tyres are cold, I have noticed that it is surprisingly easy to spin up the rear wheel, particularly into the first and second gear, but even yeah, even higher gears, let's say, if the tyres are a little bit cold. So yeah, that's been a comparison between the, well, they're both Interceptors, they're both Honda Interceptors depending on where you live in the world. Yeah, the very last one, and the one that's considered by a lot of people to be the best, the RC36. Yeah, if you'd like to see more stuff like this, please do subscribe, do the liking of the video and that sort of stuff, and yeah, comment below with your VFR thoughts if you've had one or more. Yeah, let me know. Hello. Yeah, bye.